Welcome to Raptors Today from a very hot Las Vegas, Nevada. Paul Jones alongside Amy Audibert. A well-deserved load management day off for Savanna Hamilton. Hopefully she's reclined somewhere by a pool. But Amy, the Raptors not sleeping. Day off for the team, but a couple of really important transactions. A signing of Ron Harper Jr. on a two-way. But let's start with Justin Champagnie, a guy that, well, he came off a two-way, worked his way into the rotation this year, and has been rewarded with a multi-year contract.
Yeah, thrilled for him. He had a small sample size with the Raptors last year, played in 36 games. First of all, he shot 47%. Didn't shoot a lot, but he was efficient, and that's what you want from your back rotation two-ways, to just get in there and, you know, not overdo anything, but be great at what you do. But the thing that resonates with me, Paul, is his pressure he puts on the glass on the rebounding end, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see him impact that much. He's not big, he's 6'6", but he has a knack for the ball, and he lurks around the rim, and he had some huge offensive rebounds for the Raptors. Remember, he almost won the Oklahoma City game, but it got ruled off. But, I mean, that was such a big-time thing. And then the other thing we just can't measure, he has this infectious personality. When he walks into the room, everyone's smiling, and he uplifts everyone he's around. And I think when you look at an 82-game season, that's intangible, but I'm just so thrilled to see that he's going to be with the Toronto Raptors next year.
Amy, the Raptors really have a culture. And a guy like Champagnie fits the culture, as you said. Hardworking guy, good personality, good team guy. That's how you win. And he came on a two-way contract, and they just signed Ron Harper Jr. on a two-way contract. And they're banking on with the development, and they've had success with 905 guys from Pascal and Fred and guys that have gone like Norm Powell, Justin Champagnie recently, Chris Boucher. They're hoping Ron Harper Jr. fits that same mold.
And when you look at the track record of two-ways and 905 guys get excited when they get the opportunity to be a two-way player with the Toronto Raptors. When you look at Ron Harper Jr., he's talked about earlier, I'm ready to do whatever this team needs. And that's, number one, the right attitude to have. But you look at his body, he's got a great build so he can hold his own. On the defensive end, he's got a 7'2" wingspan. So we've seen him shoot some gaps at Summer League and just be aggressive defensively, which is always welcome with the Raptors. It's senior year in college, he shot 39% from the three. He hasn't shot well in the Summer League, but again, that's just getting in the gym, getting off shots at this level takes some time. But again, for him, this is a developmental project, comes from a basketball family, as you know really well. And so it's always about potential with these young guys and what Bobby and Masai and their staff sees. So here we go with another young guy that's showing that he wants to be here and he's willing to put the work in.
When the prospect came out of Ron Jr. becoming a Toronto Raptor, I got a call from Ron Sr. who was excited to see his son, the potential of his son in Toronto. All right, earlier in the week, we had a chance to catch up with Ron Harper Jr.
Ron, if you had $1 for every single time somebody compared you to your dad or brought your dad up in a conversation, how rich would you be?
I could be close to the richest man in the NBA. Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle. I hear about it every day, every single day. Especially now that I'm here, I think I've heard it more than ever. So it's just a lot of dollars that'll keep piling up.
I'm sure. But at what point in your career did you make the decision for yourself, you know, I want to be in the NBA myself, for myself?
I feel like going into high school, you know, I never really took basketball seriously, but freshman year I kind of saw I was getting better. And I was like, oh, maybe I could actually play in the NBA because, you know, that's every hooper's dream at the end of the day. And, you know, as time went on and I kept working out, I kept getting better, you know. In college, I realized myself becoming an NBA prospect, an NBA player. So I just stuck to the plan. I was never the most gifted kid growing up, but I just kept working hard and everything worked out how it was supposed to.
Absolutely. And when you think about your journey, what has been the most challenging aspect of it?
Just, you know, every turn I take is, I went from unranked to All-American, now I'm undrafted, so it's just the same thing. Just show up to work every day, stick to what got you here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do things the right way, just keep sticking to the plan, and, you know, I'm in the right spot. I got the right situation, so I'm real confident that everything's going to work out for me.
Okay, so if you had one word to describe your game, what would it be?
Versatile, you know, a guy that can do a lot, a guy that can do almost everything on the floor, and that's what I pride myself on, you know, having few weaknesses, if any, and just being able to do everything at a high level.
And then finally, you have obviously been putting all the work in on the court and everything, but if you had to do a hobby or a passion off the court, what would it be?
Man, hobby or passion. I love playing video games, so I would probably play video games a lot more if it wasn't for basketball. And when I'm not playing basketball, when I'm not with these guys, I'm in the room playing video games. So I try to be like a pro gamer probably.
Okay, but like what games exactly?
2K for sure. I'm definitely one of the better 2K players in the community. So.
Really?
100%.
So you can't get enough?
No, I can't get enough. Basketball, I love basketball. If it's not on the court, it's on a virtual video game with a controller in my hand.
That's awesome. All right, take care, man.
Everybody who's anybody is here at Summer League. And earlier in the week, Savanna Hamilton had a chance to catch up with Chris Haynes from Yahoo Sports.
Chris, how you doing, boss?
I'm in Las Vegas. The weather is, it's a little bit too hot probably for most people, but look, I'm enjoying it. Great basketball, weather, great food, love the food. And if in case you haven't known or haven't been, there's a lot of things to do in Las Vegas, so I'm enjoying myself.
Listen, it's almost overwhelming for me, but I don't mind it. Let's talk some Summer League. Obviously, we got 4 Canadians drafted in this class, but let's talk about Raptors first. When we think about the season that the Raptors have had, what stands out to you about that team?
Well, what stands out is that they still have a core. Obviously, giving up, Kyle Lowry, and you kind of thought that, maybe it would take some time for them to get back to a position where they're close to contending. And I still think we look at the core that they have, and then we saw the progress, maturation of Scotty. That kid right there. No doubt. I told him a couple days ago. I said, bro, I didn't see you becoming the Rookie of the Year and doing what you did. I remember I had a talk with Kevin Durant. He told me about just Scotty's, athleticism and his length, how it caused problems. And, KD usually doesn't harp those type of praises to a rookie. And so when you got him to build upon as well, it just shows you that they're not that far away. So they're in a really good spot right now.
Now, I know you saw Koloko play a little bit. He's our draft pick this year. He came from the second round. I'm calling him already the diamond in the rough.
Okay.
But he has his some distance to prove himself still. But what have you seen from his game that stood out to you?
I talked to Earl Watson, Raptors assistant coach. That's a good friend of mine. Talked to him before the game. So I was a sideline reporter for the Raptors. I forgot who they played over the weekend, but 76ers, okay. But one thing about him, he's a great shot blocker. Great shot blocker. His instincts are really great. He gets up off the floor quick. Earl Watson said he could even step outside and shoot the ball. And I didn't see much of that when I did the sidelines, but Earl said he has that in his game. But he did collect a lot of fouls. Yeah. So you can tell this is going to be a learning curve for him to understand how to position his body, make sure he's in the right spot to, even to try to attempt those block shots. And so, it's a project. But, Masai, like he loves those projects. Certain guys that he takes, he's going to believe in. It might not be a guy. It might not be a guy that other teams may pick at that spot, but it's a guy that Masai identifies with, and you can see the potential. You can see why he fell in love with him.
Do you think the narrative has changed about playing in Toronto?
The narrative has changed. Look, I think, yes, for sure. The narrative has changed about playing. It's a cool vibe, and I love Toronto. I love Toronto, man. The people always been great. The city is beautiful. I'm personally not a fan of Toronto in February and January, but look, Toronto, no, added, with Drake being there, being an ambassador, Masai, he just brings that swag. It has transformed into this organization that is deemed as cool. And then, just on the basketball side, that's a well-ran organization. Like one of the most well-run organizations we have in the league. So it does, the perception has changed, but, there's still people that, don't want to live that far out. Kawhi Leonard was, one of those, but definitely it's not.
As we learned.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, they're definitely not anywhere near the bottom of the NBA teams that places to play. Yeah. Exactly, for sure.
Fair enough. Well, I hope to catch you in Toronto next time you're there.
I hope so.
All right, Savanna, a lot to chew on there, Amy. Chris Haynes has given us a lot of food for thought. I'll let you start first. I have my own thoughts and ideas about what he said, but I'll give you the first kick.
Well, he checked all 4 boxes. It's really hot in Vegas. Scotty Barnes is really good, and he's lived up to all his expectations and probably has a lot more to go. There's a lot of potential in Koloko, which we've all seen, his size and length and ability to defend. And it is cold in Canada in January and February. So, yes, Chris. But really, it's awesome to hear figures that are in the States and in America that have huge platforms to that are paying attention to the Raptors and what the Raptors are doing, because we are very passionate about the team up here, and they don't always get the headlines, but when you hear people like Chris talking about it, they do deserve to be in conversations all the time. Rookie of the year, potential draft picks. Yeah, it's great to hear.
Well, for me, having been with the team covered the team for as long as I have, I always said that there are guys that will come to Toronto, maybe kicking and screaming, but once they get to Toronto and they realize what Canada is about, what the landscape is about, the way people are, the passion of the fans, the commitment of the organization, they fall right into place and they really, really enjoy it. And as you said, Amy, the core of this team is built around development, and it has championship mentality. They may not be there initially when they come together, but that's something that develops. And you and I both know from being around this team and this organization, that's the prize. They've already ascended to the top of the mountain. Okay, they've come back down the mountain, but now they're on the come up again. And that's something that I think is invaluable. And as we were talking off camera, you mentioned it too. That's attractive when you have a bunch of guys that like each other, that play for each other. Other people want to be part of that.
Yeah, and also just not being expected to come to a team as a superstar and for 82 games win basketball games yourself. And I think the Raptors have done a fantastic job developing such an awesome core that, by the way, finished high in the playoffs. And so they've already done okay. So it's more of just a, hey, come compliment, come help, maybe come lead, but you're not going to have to do it by yourself. And I think as a player, what else could you want? The opportunity to win and compete with good people.
Well, the development continues, and that will go on Friday night as the Toronto Raptors take on the Miami Heat. You can see it starting at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific time on TSN, Raptors and the Heat. For Amy, Jake, our editors, and Savanna kind of on her day off, even though she talked to Chris Haynes, we say thank you for watching another episode of Raptors Today.